Hello, and thank you for watching Accelerate with Nerdio. In today's lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about FSLogix Profile container storage options. As always, please visit help.nerdio.net for access to all of our amazing content and videos. And with that, let's jump right in. So, what are we solving today, right? It's important that we select the right type of SMB file share storage for our FSLogix Profile container virtual disks. Now, there are two types of options that we generally see partners using. And I'll pull up a PowerPoint and we can kind of talk through these. So what we used to see, and still occasionally do, is partners using a file server VM, right? And if we're talking about WVD, right, then we're talking about a file server virtual machine that is within the same subscription resource group region, right, as the VMs that are getting their profiles redirected to it, right? So a file server VM means that you're still managing the underlying server object, right? So you still have to update that file server, make sure that it's online, right? Make sure that storage is adequate. You absolutely need that to be in the same region as your hosts. Because think about what's going on, right? We are redirecting profiles, so we're having to read and write over a distance, especially, right? If it's not directly within the LAN of that machine, then we're creating hops or we're creating some kind of latency between the source and the user. And so that's also why we recommend premium storage, right? Premium storage has faster throughput, right? More benefits in regards to performance. The alternative to managing a file server, right, is to use something like Azure Files, which is an IaaS service, right? So you don't have to worry about managing the underlying assets. You're just saying, hey, Microsoft, give me storage, make it redundant, make it highly available, and depending on some other options, it will determine the speed and performance, right? So Azure Files is really our recommended option. Again, this uses Azure Storage. It allows you to leverage AD authentication for your NTFS permissions, same as the file server. And we recommend premium storage here as well. And I would highly recommend looking at Microsoft's documentation, which I'll include in the links, in regards to premium versus standard storage, as well as the throughput and bandwidth increases that occur as you scale up the storage type. And what that means is, if you only have a few users, it might seem like just getting the smallest amount of storage available is the best choice, but there are limitations when you do that. So sometimes you're going to want to buy more than you need to ensure that you get the performance you require. And let's state that one more time, right? So file server VM, if you're running a file server, I think you should be at a D4S V3 or higher, and that is as of the recording of this video, and a premium SSD, right? Because these are going to both provide higher throughput and IOPS, and you definitely want to monitor for any disk latency or disk queue, right? Same with Azure Files, right? You want to use premium storage, and then we'll link to this article. There's now something called SMB multi-channel, which can really improve throughput and performance. And so let's look at one more thing in Nerdio Manager for MSP specific to this. And what I want to point back to is here in Settings, Integrations. And this is within the account level, right? So per account. There is this FSLogix Profile storage option here. And the reason I'm pointing back to this, right, is we're talking about storage. This is where you would point back to either the file server or the Azure Files path. And this can be done per host pool. This is the default, right? So if you never change anything as an option, this is what your host will always use if you're using Nerdio Manager to apply FSLogix. And then also note, right, you can come in here and you can add additional Azure file storage if needed. You could come in here and create Azure file storage. We'll notice, right, premium versus standard. We definitely want you to choose that premium, and we discussed it a little bit here. And then capacity, there is a difference in performance as that capacity goes up. I'll go ahead and wrap with that. Definitely check out the links that I'm going to put in the article because we're going to talk about some performance enhancements for Azure Files as well. Thank you again and have a great day.